Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. It's a Sunday. It's quite a chilly Sunday afternoon, gloomy, misty, damp Sunday afternoon, and we are looking at gloomy, misty subject matter covered in fog and chill, and that is the strangeness around those children, Prince Archie, alleged Prince Archie, and even more alleged Princess Lilibet. And we are going back in time. We're going back to Australia, the Parkle tour of Australia, which they thought was so sensational. She was Diana too, and they were the most popular royals ever and would be crowned king and queen in due course. But actually, behind the scenes, all was not well, and there was a lot of rumor and gossip at the time, and still is, about trouble on the horizon. Well, not on the horizon, it had arrived. And this is account views from her throwback series, going back, looking at old gossip, old stories. And this is what happened at Admiralty House in Australia, allegedly, when they were staying there. And not the story about Meghan wanting the whole house to herself, no. This is about fighting. This is about sleeping in separate rooms. They were a newlywed couple, and the pregnancy had been announced at poor old Eugenie's wedding, and then they were off to Australia, where all the news was this pregnancy, and allegedly they were overheard fighting. They slept in separate rooms. Harry was out drinking most nights until late, fighting, overheard fighting, and overheard Harry saying to her, "Are you really pregnant this time?" And there's been a lot of speculation, and I've looked at it, and many other people have looked at it. Allegedly, she told him she was pregnant at that Invictus Games in Toronto, at the wedding in Jamaica. There's all kinds of theories that that's why there was a rushed secret wedding, perhaps, or a rushed even proper wedding at St. George's Chapel, why Eugenie had to be kicked out the way and they had to be fast-tracked to married because she was pregnant. That loose dress that she wore to her wedding, which cost Claire, what's her name? Wright, Claire, I've gone blank. Claire Wright, somebody or other. Cost her job eventually, and all of those stories. And there's also stories about her on Suits, suddenly arriving pregnant and them having to let out her clothes that she was wearing, the costume department on Suits, and then no more pregnant. Very strange. So we're going to look with the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot at the story. Here it is. It's the Tales of Mystery and Imagination Tarot, of course. It's a dark tarot. And we're going to have a look at this. So we're going to find out what the vibe between them was like in Australia, behind the scenes. Were they fighting about pregnancy? Is this a pattern of hers to fake pregnancy or tell men that she's pregnant to get what she wants? It's very soap opera-y. We've looked at this before on this channel. You can go back and look on the playlists and see, but we're asking again. And we're going to want to know, is this something she did routinely to get her way with men, force them to marry her, whatever, the alleged wedding that was annulled right early on in her career with that guy who's a lawyer? He's kept a very low profile. He's never denied that he knew her or was married to her, but that was allegedly annulled. How does Harry feel? Because the next part of the story is the interesting part for me. We know Harry's a bit dumb, so easy to hoodwink when it comes to the birds and the bees, I'm sure. But the next part of the story is that Meghan allegedly was seen by staff at Admiralty House, taking the bump off because it was hot. It's Australia, it's heading into summer, and too hot to throw the bump on the floor, and seen, not only seen, photographed, filmed. And a lot of speculation that the tea, let's call it spilling incident, was to do with somebody walking in, perhaps that Melissa Tabati, and seeing Meghan and tea being thrown. So we want to know how Harry felt, assuming that he was hoodwinked. How did he feel when, oh, by the way, this is a bump, it's silicone, and there is a contract between me and a surrogate. It's all been done. She's pregnant with our child. How did he feel when that news was told to him? Can you imagine doing that to your husband? Which he allegedly did He seems to have been a Dumbo innocent in this whole thing. So we want to know about that. We want to know if she was seen, if there's proof of it, if her response was that the tea flying in the air, and then the outcome. And the outcome is the big reveal. Is there going to be a big reveal about this? The big reveal we are going to look at in the next video. So this is basically a preliminary reading on what happened in Australia between the couple fighting. What was the vibe? Was this a pattern of behavior of hers? How Harry felt when he learned the truth about what was actually going on, allegedly. And was she seen? Is there evidence of it? How did she respond at the time? And is the truth going to come out? We've got our cards now are all over the place. Our Edgar Allan Poe tarot. And I have to say it because this is obviously controversial, that this is tarot for fun and entertainment. It's all speculation. It's all my opinion. It is all rumor and gossip that we're looking at here to see the energy around them. I just read energy here at this channel. It's archetypal energy because we're dealing with the royal family. They're the archetypal family, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. So got all of that out the way. We're going to cover this reading with allegedlys right now. It sounds like we might not have to do that for much longer, but that's the topic of the next reading I'm going to be doing on this gloomy, fog-covered Sunday. I'm not gloomy. I'm fine, more or less. King of Cups in reverse, we have got as our underlying energy of this reading, King of Cups in reverse. That is a man who is very, very, very upset. A bit of a startling King of Cups here, but anyway, it's the Edgar Allan Poe tarot. Of course, it's strange, but our underlying energy is of a man who is drinking a lot. Cups in reverse, always indicating drinking. Harry out drinking until late at night, allegedly, according to these rumors that Celt Views had heard at the time and was refreshing us about now. And so King of Cups in reverse, very upset, very out of sorts. But we've also got other men in the background that are Kings of Cups. Prince William, the now King Charles, who was then Prince Charles, of course. They're also in the background of this story. You might be thinking, it's a man who's not in control of his emotions, who's confused, blowing hot and cold. He's all over the place emotionally. Harry doesn't often show up in this energy, so I'm just bringing the others in because they're background players in this story who might be coming to the foreground in the next reading I'm going to do this evening. But Harry doesn't often show up as a cups energy, but this is cups. In your cups means to be drunk. This is heavy drinking. This is not knowing how he should be feeling. I'm sure he was elated when he was told that he was about to be a father. This is why he married. He wanted children. He wanted the same as William and Catherine had. Never a good reason to decide to become a parent, in my opinion. And this is, of course, all my opinion. But now not knowing what to believe, what to feel, very painful energy, actually, for old has-been. Dumbo, as I say, quite easy to fool. If you're going to fool someone, he really the perfect candidate, as I'm sure they discovered quite quickly. In my opinion, allegedly, at Soho House, perhaps Marcus figured that one out pretty quickly. Situation, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a tower. Yeah, we're dealing with a tower. It's in reverse. And it's in reverse here because the tower hasn't come down yet. This is future tower. It's coming. Cards in the reverse can mean delayed activation of energy. It's waiting to happen. This tower is about to fall down. And as I keep saying, we're going to look at that in the next reading. But this is a massive calamity that is coming. Massive. It's going to bring the marriage down. The tower is often a divorce. It could even very seriously damage the royal family. But it's on its way. So let's look at the mood in Australia. We were told how successful it was and all the rest of it, Diana too and blah, blah. What was the mood really like between the couple? The moon in reverse, yeah. Secrets being revealed. Here is the mist, here is the fog. Here is the confusion, the doubt, the fear. What is really going on with the moon. And the moon is, of course, pregnancies and women and childbirth and all that stuff. Madness to cray-cray. And this really, if there is any truth to the story, and let's put this in a speculative sense here for the legal purposes, but if there is any truth to the story, it's crazy. It's genuinely insane behavior. Not only to try and hoodwink the entire world, but really to do that to your spouse, your new husband, who happens to be a prince. It's crazy. And so we've got crazy with the moon. We've got weirdness around pregnancies, around childbirth, mothering, bodies, bumps, sleeping in separate rooms. It's just all crazy, but it's also, because the moon is in reverse, it's the fog dissipating and the truth emerging when the moon is in reverse. Light begins to penetrate and the truth is revealed, and the truth must have started to emerge for the has-been, that he married a crazy lady who was faking a pregnancy and had hired someone else to carry allegedly their child. But nobody really knows the provenance of those children. And so allegedly is all over. I should just get a big allegedly there instead. The allegedly tarot. So I'm going to start giggling now. Now I've forgotten our next question. Were they fighting about children, pregnancy, whatevers? And we got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is calamity. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Wheel of Fortune is pretty much a tower. Is bad luck, terrible disaster that you are now experiencing. So instead of something being so wonderful, so positive, now I'm going to be a parent, now I'm going to be able to compete with Wills and Catherine, and everybody's going to adore me even more, and I'm going to be the most popular prince in the world because I love children so much and relate to children so well. I'm being snarky, but you know, he deserves it at some level, in my opinion. But this is now the worst thing in the world with the Wheel of Fortune. It's not a fighting energy as such, but it's just somebody being dumbstruck by how their life has taken such a seriously bad turn. He thought he was on this path now that he'd yearned for all these years. But instead it's disaster. It's turned from a rom-com into a disaster movie. And he can't believe what has happened. So let's ask now in the next column of cards, is this something she routinely did? Is this a modus operandi with her, that this is something she routinely did with men? Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is control. It's about controlling a situation. Very much so, I would say yes. She wanted things, she wanted to control, she wanted to gain financial stability. I'm pregnant. Remember that one night stand we had 3 months ago, wherever, I'm pregnant. And now you've got to do the right thing, the decent thing, make an honest woman of me, or whatever. It looks like a pattern of behavior to me because it's a 4, and it's a 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is about stability, financial stability. It's about hanging on to something. Normally, the person in the 4 of Pentacles is clutching a pentacle to their heart, to their chest. They want money, they want stability, they want the ring on their finger, and they want to control. And pentacles are about body and about eggs and things like that, biological, not functions, but definitely about the body and eggs and stuff like that. So fertility. So here we have it. We have I'm going to be in your family now because of this pentacle that I'm carrying, not in front of my heart, but in my womb. So you're going to have me in your family now, and put that ring on my finger, a big giant ring. So that's my opinion. I'm speculating. That's how I'm reading the energy of the card. Of course, how did Harry react, feel when he found out the truth of what was really going on? How did it go for him? The Star in reverse. Terrible disappointment, devastation. He believed her. And it's interesting that we've got a moon in the star card. We've got a moon there being eclipsed, which I've never noticed before. We've got a woman here who is conjuring something up, really, but she's in reverse now. All his hopes dashed. Everything he believed about her, false. Everything he believed about his life, gone. He thought he was on the true path. He thought she was Mummy Diana. That's why the moon is here. He thought all of that. And Mummy Diana's hair was in a box by the bed when she announced she was pregnant, and he fell asleep. My mind says doped. Okay, have a drink of this. I'm going to do the pregnancy test. Back I come hours later. Harry's unconscious. Ta-da! I mean, it's the stuff of soapies. It really is. That's my speculation of the scenario, and I am a screenwriter, and so I am always telling stories. But this is a devastating card. He has got devastating cards in this reading, our King of Cups in reverse here, who had to go out drinking every night to deal with what craziness was happening in his house, because we have got the Tower, the Moon, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Star, all in reverse. The fact that they are all in reverse, except for this, her manifestation, the Four of Pentacles is very much a manifesting card into reality. I want this, I'm going to manifest it into reality. Pentacles are reality. This tells me that this was just a huge, crazy disaster, and that's why I say we've got Kings of Cups in the background here. Daddy and brother who must have been thinking, what the actual F is going on with him? What is going on? How do we figure out what is going on with him? Because this is crazy town. This. What she's seen was the bump scene, filmed, photographed, chucked on the floor because she was hot. Yeah, hanged man. Somebody saw, but somebody was powerless to do anything about it at the time. NDAs, their hands were tied immediately, or were already tied because of their employment status NDAs that they'd already signed, couldn't do anything about it, feeling powerless, helpless, hung out to dry, victimized, fired, maybe life so awful in the working environment that they were fired afterwards, couldn't act, couldn't do. It's not literally a camera, but you will notice that the Hanged Man, or you won't notice, I will tell you, for those of you who don't read cards yourself, Neptune is the Hanged Man. What does Neptune rule? Film. So tarot has gone a roundabout way of telling us that there is film. There is film evidence. And we'll be talking about that in the next reading as well. But couldn't be used at the time. Another major arcana that's come out. This is just heaving with major arcana. How did she react when she was seen? What did she do? We got the Fool in the reverse. Fool in the reverse is a very reckless card. Here, people are going on a perilous adventure through the catacombs. In the reverse, it's somebody doing something outrageous, foolish, reckless. It's not literally throwing something, but it can be, because it's Aries energy. It's very fiery. It's very combustible energy. It's very spontaneous energy, but stupid. She did something stupid. That with hindsight probably set off a chain of events for her, of truth-telling, of staff starting to keep score and discuss and wonder how they could manage the situation, and stories getting out about it, because a Fool in reverse is somebody who just does something very stupid, a rash act, something wild, untamed energy, erratic energy. So I think it's possible that she might even have done something quite physical, reckless physical behavior with the Fool, because a Fool always is depicted as about to jump off a cliff, and it's very leap interaction energy, just caught in that moment of leaping. So for me, it tells its own story. And as I say, I'm a storyteller. Outcome. Is there a big reveal on its way? We got the Two of Cups. A Two of Cups is a reconciliation card, often. It's a partnership, it's a reunion, it's often a finding your one true love. But for me, this Two of Cups is not Harry and Meghan. For me, this is Harry and the people he wants to be in a Two of Cups relationship with, his adoring public. That is how I'm going to read this card. Let's take a clarifier. I don't want this to go on for 5 hours because I've got another long reading. But Two of Cups is interesting because it's a reconciliation reunion. Who and what's this reconciliation about? Tell us. The reconciliation has got the Eight of Cups. And there's the moon again. Somebody walking through the darkness, leaving Crazy Town behind and walking away from Crazy Town, guided by the moon, guided possibly by Mummy Diana and these Cups people in the background, out of danger, out of difficulty, out of sorrow and loss. I would say that there is some desire to leave Crazy Town and head back to the safety of that Two of Cups and reconcile with the people who actually turn out to be the people who really have his back, his true friends, his true family, the country that he thinks adores him and will forgive him. We're going to read about that now in our next reading. So thanks for watching this one, and let's hopefully see you on the other side.